But first, a group of women choose to get off welfare and into the job market.
We need 2 more women to go to the food bank with you. So are there any volunteers?
Put in demolition tools, although we probably won't be doing a lot.
A typical morning at a busy construction company. Except all the workers here are women.
All those tools that are by the door there need to come in and get put away soon.
This is the Regina Women's Construction Co-op. 2 years ago, most of these women were on welfare. Now they're learning carpentry and making money. Half the operation is a training program funded partly by the government and the Canadian Women's Foundation. The other part is a for-profit construction company. It's owned by the workers who are serving their apprenticeship as carpenters.
In February 1996, Saskatchewan Women in Trades and Technology started teaching women carpentry skills. And when they were finished after a year's training, one of the ideas that we had originally was for them to form their own business. The results have been about 11 members in the workers' co-op. It's called the Regina Women's Construction Co-op, and it's been working in the city of Regina for over a year now.
Today, there are 26 women going out to work. For 16 of them, it's their first day on the job. They finished their classroom studies a week earlier. Pat Fayon is a veteran. She was one of the first women to sign up for the course when it started 3 years ago.
It was quite a thrill, actually, the first time I used a skill saw and started picking up other tools, too. Working with my hands and learning how to use all the different power tools. I first heard of it when I was taking a Women Exploring Trades course, and I really enjoyed it. That was my favorite week of the program, was doing the carpentry. So Denise told us about this program they were working on.
Denise and I have been training for 6 or 8 years now, teaching carpentry to women. And a few years ago, I ran into someone who asked about setting up a training program for women who were on social assistance. And they were looking for ways to train women into jobs that were well-paying. From the start, we always had our eye on taking women through a full apprenticeship, not just doing entry-level training, which is really what prevents people from staying in the workforce. Initially, I think there's a lot of skepticism because we came up with a 5-year plan, and most training programs are much shorter than that. But that's the key element, is that if you put enough time into supporting people who are unused to being in the workforce, then it's a big investment up front, but in the end they're going to stay in the workforce.
What we've got here is a 6-foot by 10-foot deck. They haven't learned to build stairs yet, so I'll teach them on the fly. I'll teach them on the job. As a business manager, I take on jobs that I know that we are capable of doing. Between my experience and the women's experience and what their capabilities are of learning, I will say yes or no to a certain job. And this particular job right here with this deck, they're perfectly capable of doing it. Cut this whole thing out, we use it as a pattern and make 5 of them.
I like learning something new every day, and I enjoy getting up every morning to go to work. I know I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to be doing something different.
There are some very real differences in training a group of women compared to training a group of men, right down to their learning styles. One of the key differences between men and women's ways of learning is that women tend to gather the information first, and then they'll go out and perform a task. Men will generally perform the task and learn it while they're doing it. So they may be fixing more mistakes. Women are afraid to make mistakes.
We're in the building that's now owned by the South Saskatchewan Independent Living Centre. It's used to be a social services building here owned by the province in the city of Regina. The space used to be offices, and the women, we have 16 women working on this site, and they're demolishing. They're salvaging all the material. And very shortly an architect or designer will be redefining the space, and chances are we'll be doing a lot of the work for that.
I was in it at first for the money, but now I just really enjoy it. I get a lot out of it just doing the work. Like, it's more than just money now to me. It's like satisfying, like I'm doing something that I really like, and it's great.
There's been some absolutely dramatic changes. 2 of the women in our co-op right now, 2.5 years ago, were on assistance. Now they own their own homes. Some of these women have come from families where there are 2- and 3-generation welfare families. Some of them have been on social assistance for a very short period of time. They're just having a real tough break. They may have been abandoned by a partner. They happen to be the sole support for their children. They all have, in many, many cases, just sort of extraordinary social needs.
I got into construction out of financial necessity, I'd have to say. I was left alone with 2 babies and had quite a strong background in carpentry, but that was in wood carving and furniture making. I decided that I needed to find an occupation that would pay me well, and so I turned my woodworking skills over into training in construction and got my journey papers, and that's how I brought my children up, working commercial construction. I really, really, really enjoyed having a well-paying job. It made it just a huge difference to single parenting. Okay, now what else have you got for the co-op?
I've got a set of French doors and 2 windows that one of these days, you know, the supplier's going to phone and say, hey, they're here, they're ready to go. Yeah. So there's no shortage of work for sure. And I'm getting all kinds of panicky phone calls from homeowners wanting work done. I mean, winter's coming, so we're in good shape.
It's been about 3 years now, and both of them have grown quite a bit. I don't think my daughter remembers me doing anything else but carpentry. At times it feels like it's never going to happen, but it does. And it takes a lot of work, and it's worth it in the end. I still have my heart set on starting up my father's construction company. He shut down many years ago before he retired. At the time I was in high school, and my father, coming from a traditional background, really didn't want to leave his daughters the company. To my father, it was impossible. But now, it's something I still have my heart set on, and I still would like to do it.
For more information, contact Regina Women's Construction Co-op, 306-565-3030, Women in Trades and Technology, 519-453-2105. When Skylight returns, what value systems are at work in Canada's